my channel. Today, instead of doing an anime review, we are going to do a movie review to the romantic comedy of this year and the sequel to it, to All the Boys I Love, and this is the sequel, P.S. I Still Love You, which appeared February 12th, and I watched this with a bunch of my gal pals on Valentine's Day, so I thought I would do a little review on it. So let's get started. Romantic comedies don't always get a sequel all that too often because the happy ending is for so much of the genre and the point. You spend a whole movie teasing out the tension between people who should be together but necessarily aren't, and then throwing obstacles and misunderstandings in their way until finally they are nothing left to be overcome. There are always these grand gestures of confessed feelings, the passionate cliche, the sweet satisfaction of emotional resolution before the camera pulls back and up from the new couples kissing in the rain, the airport, or their wedding. To keep going past that point is to get into what it means to carve out a functional day-to-day relationship and keep it going. And while this can be romantic, it can be comedic. It doesn't always, what's the word I'm looking for, lend itself to the sort of exuberant escapism as they get together does. It's going to be simpler as the movies to treat love like an act as an accomplishment upon unto itself, and not just one of the elements in the ongoing process of people trying to figure out what it means to be together. But that territory into which P.S. I Still Love You, the Michael Frongari directed, followed the Netflix 28 phenomenon To All the Boys I Loved Before, boldly ventures. I'll admit to a complicated avalanche To All the Boys I Loved Before, which was the adaptation from the first book in the trilogy from the young adult writer Jen Han, which has unapologetically modest aim when it comes to reclaiming a type of throwback teen romance. The movie, which was directed by Susan Johnson, didn't update John Hughes so much it gave John Hughes a scrub down and courtesy coat of paint. It puts a half-Korean heroine at the center of it instead of a Molly Ridgewell, the primary of the outside, emotional overthought of the inside of Laura Jane, played by Lana Kador. But it stops of the short of interrogating its own desire about being a high school social structure and desirability. Your main character may be different, but the focus on the fantasy, while still has a sensitive white jock, it's made a point of showing Peter watching 16 Candles with Lauren Jean and her younger sister Kitty, Anna Cathaway, who's played Dizzy in the Descendants movie 2 and 3, and having the girl affirmation that the dreamboat quality of the Jake Ryan character makes the extremely racist Duke Dong one more enduring. When P.S. Still Love You began, Lauren Jean had landed her very own Jake Ryan, the husky, impermeable, sweet Peter, played by Noah Chancito, has the context with the means of being effectively dating the prince of teen social circles. Peter takes her out to an amusement park, his favorite Italian restaurant, even buys her a necklace for Valentine's Day, and apologizes profusely when Practice makes him late to their planned meetup at a coffee shop. He doesn't push for sex, even asks solicitously whether it feels like he's rushing her. The same power dynamic that underlines the first film, him choosing her, informs that the problems plaguing their budding relationship in the second ones. They come almost entirely from Laura Jane's insecurities about Pete's pre-relationship with her former best friend Jen, played by Amaka, bragging about his popularity and about his loyalty to his teammates. She doesn't have really much in common with Peter beyond the chemistry that Corda and Sedenti share. And the chemistry nothing to sniff at, but in this movie, To P.S. I Still Love You, comes awfully close to arguing itself out of its central romance when introducing John Ambrose McClane, or Jordan Fisher, one of the 5 crushes whom Laura Jane writes confessional notes to, that were never intended to be mailed. In P.S. I Still Love You, you have a cast of supporting characters that points less white than To All the Boys I Loved Before. That includes John Ambrose, who's, when briefly glimpsed at the end of the first film, was played by Jordan Busquet. As played by Fisher, he is dancing, a piano playing, and has an easy rapport with Corridor. When the two of them end up volunteering at a retirement home lord over by a vice-stealing Holland Taylor, they shack up a flirtation that helped formed by the fact that Lauren Jean never really got her telling that she has a boyfriend. One thing that both of these films are good at is laying the inside of the mindset of teenagers to whom everything is new, to whom everything seems potentially world-ending. But this love trial between Laura Jean helps create herself doesn't end up coming across as kind of highly dramatic, complicated that rom-com has been fueled by forever, it actually ends up unintentionally undercutting the relationship that films ask us to be invested in. Sometimes I wish my boyfriend was a little more anonymous, Laura Jean says at one point as she watches Peter play Flip the Cut with his friends at a party. Yet his social state is also part of his appeal, and the film is in short to the cold reputation for the heroine that never gets around to show where these two characters connect. Laura Jean is shown to have tendency to make herself miserable playing as being Peter's girlfriend, also in her head overthinking everything, which she admits doesn't happen when she's with John Ambrose. What can be said about where all this ends to All the Boys I Love, also and Forever Laura Jean, is slated to come out later this year, the third film of the series, and that ultimately these films might begin something sometimes true about young love they never intended, which is the idea that you get when you form around who you should want to be with can be difficult to shake. They can stick around for so long that you end up making a whole movie about someone hurling herself out of a relationship that doesn't seem to make her happy. That she still sure is all whatever may want to be romantic, but definitely real. But another thing I noticed in this entire movie is that it does have a happy ending, but it's also very confusing. Because I believe with this movie as a whole, the whole, well, age-old romantic quarry, once the initial excitement fades, even the most loving relationships can fall into a comfortable monogamy, with Peter convinced he got especially tough. After all, how do you dazzle a girl when you already posed as her fake boyfriend, trolling around the high school cafeteria with your hand in her back pocket, written her daily notes, driving her to the Korean grocery store across town to pick up her favorite yogurt drink, and oh yeah, admitting that you supposedly counterfeit affection for her are in fact real. So that's a lovely way to do it. And then with her little sister secretly mailing her love letters to the boys that she's loved to help start this whole phenomenon, which I thought was really interesting as a whole. But, that's just my opinion on it. But other than that, I think overall the movie itself was interesting. It became a viral success. So when you look at these romantic comedy tropes, you think, oh, it's all the charm touches of a film that facts of the teams almost exclusively to one another by their last names, and Laura Jean Presley's stress-baking skills still exist in the sequel, but no longer new and shiny. In this film, parallel the experience of its character, the sequel follows its central hope in couples about the happily ever after ending as they realize Covey navigates anxiety about being in her first relationship. Its sweet, uncommon theatric turn for radicality, and in P.S. I Still Love You is often a fun, heartwarming movie to watch. But Where to All the Boys thrills with a fresh, dramatic script, while P.S. I Still Love You relies heavily on the viewer's amused fondness for Covey and convincing rather than offering a story with nearly as much effectiveness seen as the first. More frustrating, the sequel bogs down what might have been a set of exploration of teen insecurity, with multiple weak subplots, chief amongst them the love triangle between Covey, Kaminsky, and another of Laura Jean's old crushes, John Ambrose, played by Jordan Fisher. Like the first movie, you have pretty closely to source material like the second book in Han's trilogy, but where the novel format provides ample space to explore Laura Jean's internal monologue, this film expends too much effort attempting to dramatize her confusion. When John Ambrose suddenly reappears in her life and declares his affection for her, Laura Jean is torn. He has seen her notes sooner, which she and John Ambrose have been together. Does her curiosity about the possibility mean that she doesn't really love Peter? In the context of a teenage relationship, especially Laura Jean's very first, these are weighed enough inquiries. In Ryan, the agony or the cause doesn't seem overthought because viewers has a window into Laura Jean's thinking, basically. And she's really overthinking a lot on screen. Covey's charm and actor replace her. There is not enough to sell tension of John Ambrose's threat to Lauren and Peter's happiness. And though Fisher is a kindly presence and excited to see a possibility interracial relationship between two people of color, the love triangle conflict feels forced, and even by teenage standards, the fight between the central couple never rises to the level of the devastation screenplay attempts to convey. So, there's one aspect on it. I think one thing that got me is when there's a particular scene in this rom-com where, there's a treehouse that they grew up in bird time castle in. Instead of her calling Peter, who she broke up with. It's her not so best friend rival Jen who comforts her, and they end up mending the relationship of their friendship bracelet that they both bear in this time capsule together, which I thought was very sweet, and perhaps that was the whole point. And then also the introduction of the sweet old lady Stormy, a retiree whom Lauren Jane meets while volunteering at a residential home for seniors. The adaptation doesn't spend as much time depicting Laura Jean's bond with Stormy as the novel, but with the few scenes when Taylor appears on screen, the actress who plays it are among the most vibrant and complex, offering a rare depiction of a intergenerational friendship. It reminds that P.S. I is most satisfying when it's thoughtfully broad and large in circle to include people beyond Peter. After all, romance is wonderful, but it can't be everything. And the one thing I found very intriguing is that Stormy, the retiree, lovely sweet lady, is also, I repeat, is also, well, it is Jane Ambrose is his great grandmother by marriage. And then Stormy does play a crucial role in getting the two of them together, even convincing them to have a sleepover at the retirement home one night, which is basically in the books, not in the movie, which let them play in the snow. But in the book, there was no kiss like there was in the movie. Rather than the kiss happening at the Belleville USO party, as opposed to the Star Ball in the movie itself, where Laura Jean and John have an awkward run-in with Peter and Jen that ends with John driving Laura Jean home away in her dad Red's Mustang at a red light, he kisses her. So the book and movie tend to be really different from each other. In the book, there's a game of tag called Assassin that plays a big role in the Treehouse gang. All agrees to play it, and a lot to do with how Laura Jean and John interact throughout the second half of the book, but it wasn't shown in the movie as well. And then no birthdays. In the book, they celebrate Kitty's birthday. And then by the end of it, Laura Jean, which is where Peter and John have their big showdown, John gives her a snow globe and Peter returns her locket before declaring that he's going to fight for her. After the interaction, she realized that she still loves Peter and calls him to meet her at the treehouse where they make up. But that scene with Shane, where she met her ex-best friend at, and they both revealed that they both had kept their friendship bracelets that they had put the time capsule when they were in 6th grade. And then also, if you have noticed before, one key character that wasn't in the film sequel, Josh. But in the book, he is Margot's ex, her older sister, is still around. He hangs out with Laura G occasionally, telling her that he got into the university, and then informs her that he has a new girlfriend named Liza Brooker. But that was not in the film at all. And I think about the video that sparked this whole series that was in the movie. I think as well as the book, to all the way before, brought the hot tub video for NASCAR to a close. But in the book, the video plays into P.S. I Still Love You when you have even having Peter at the school. Conversation happens at the assembly, and Lauren Dean dad has a chat with his daughter after he finds out about it. But that was never the type of scene that was also brought into the movie as a whole. So, and also the new contract that Laura Jean and Peter promised not to break each other's heart on their first date. But in the book, that promise was basically the final piece of their new contract, I must say. Remember the contract they made to all the boys love where they were in a fake relationship? Well, they made things official in the book, and they make new contracts complete with things like Peter will not be more than 5 minutes late, and Laura Jean will not make Peter do crafts of any kind. But that was never hinted in the film. So in the movie, they just promised not to break each other's heart, which I thought was very sweet. But overall, there were just mixed things that I just thought in the film that I thought that was very interesting that weren't really mentioned in Clear Up News. And also, how are you going to say with your boyfriend when he makes fun of your friend who has a stuttering problem, and then he is so sweet, plays piano, and then you go back to him? I'm just saying, it doesn't make too much sense in my opinion, but that's how the film director wanted it to happen, so I can't really put too much out there. As I think it just depends how they want to perceive the relationship between her old friend and her first new loves, how the dynamic between these three and how it delves out in the end. But, I think it just depends on how overall that they wanted to proceed the movie. But that's just my opinion on this film. If you have any questions or comments down below, if you agree with the film ending, how Laura G ends up getting back with Peter, or should she really have stayed with John Ambrose? But once the third movie comes out, we'll see what happens to these two, and if they still manage to have a good friendship, even after that awkward kiss at the Star Ball. But don't forget to comment down below, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know down below in the comment section on who did you like more in this film, or should the ending have been different? But until next time, let me know. Until then, have a nice day, guys. Bye.